Hi, welcome to Juice Bar. Today we're gonna mix my version of a tuxedo and I'm gonna teach you how to mix yours. So the Tuxedo is a super ancient cocktail going back to the 19th century, and it's basically a 50-50 martini, 50% gin and 50% vermouth. The truth is that being the base of the cocktail so simple, all the hundreds of different Tuxedo versions, they are all based on a play of bitters. And today I want to explore what I think is this play, what makes a Tuxedo cocktail a Tuxedo, and my version and how you can make yours too. So, to better examine our Tuxedo cocktail, let's bring out the whiteboard. It's some time we didn't use this. And so, as I said, basically Tuxedo is usually 50% vermouth and 50% gin. If you don't follow this pattern, then I don't even think it's a Tuxedo anymore. You're doing something else, which is fine, but just don't call it a Tuxedo. So, in my opinion, you can choose to either go with equal parts dry gin and white semi-sweet vermouth, or you can choose to go with equal parts Old Tom gin, which is a sweetened kind of gin, and dry vermouth. Either way, I think you're gonna be fine. For my version, I'm gonna stick to 45 milliliters of Old Tom gin and 45 milliliters of dry vermouth. Once you choose the combination you prefer, then you just have to think about the bitters. One of the most classic versions I've seen had 1 dash of maraschino, 1 dash of absinthe, and 2 dashes of orange bitters, and that's just great. It's perfect. It's a great version. But I'm not gonna propose you that. You can just mix it yourself and try it out. So, I was saying, in my experience, what defines a tuxedo, beside the equal amounts of vermouth and gin, is the presence of both maraschino and absinthe or other anise flavor liqueur. So in the version I'm gonna propose you now, I'm gonna use definitely maraschino, and I think you should use maraschino too in your version. That's a base. And also another thing that's definitely gonna be needed is some anise flavored component. For my version, instead of absinthe, I'm gonna use Galliano, and also I'm gonna use as a combination to both add spice and more anise, Peychaud bitters. Then, as for the original recipe, you might think about adding some extra touch. In the original recipe, that was done by using orange bitters. What I'm gonna use instead is gonna be peach bitters, just for a change. I tried and they tasted good, and that's what I'm gonna do. So, this is gonna be my version. Your version should follow the same pattern. Choose between one of these two paths, choose the amount of maraschino, choose the amount of absinthe or other anise flavor liqueur. It could be sambuca, it could be pacharani, it could be ouzo, something else, and then finish up your recipe of bitters by adding something else to give a bit more spice and or extra flavor. Now that the lesson is done, let's get down to mixing. So let's start with 1 dash of peach bitters, which doesn't really come out, so I'm gonna use 2. Then we're gonna use 1 dash of Peychaud bitters, which have spiciness but also a bit of anise. And then we're gonna go on with half a teaspoon of Galliano. Galliano is definitely anise flavor. It also has some vanilla component and some sweetness to it. And I really like it. I'm using it quite a lot. Yeah, I would say half a teaspoon. This is a bit too much. I guess I'm gonna lick the extra amount, and then also half a teaspoon of maraschino. As I said, maraschino, I really think it's a necessary component of this cocktail, otherwise you're just making a 50-50 martini. And then we go with our main ingredients, which are gonna be dry vermouth, 45 milliliter or an ounce and a half. I'm using Carpano dry, and 45 milliliters of Old Town Gin. Of course, I talked a lot about this play and equilibrium balance between bitters and stuff, but really everything is gonna depend on the base spirit you're gonna use. Depending on the Old Town Gin you use and the vermouth you use, you might need to adjust this delicate balance of bitters. Now let's get some ice and let's give this bad boy a stir. This is a pretty strong drink, so we want to have some good dilution going, and also you want to make it really chill possibly. So get your bartender spoon spinning. Let's strain in our chilled coupe our Tuxedo with a slight pinkish color. Let's decorate with maraschino cherry. And that's it, my version of a tuxedo. As a tuxedo in formal wearing is also called a black tie, but because black tie is already taken, I really think this one should be called a pink tie, because it's slightly pink. So here's a pink tie. Cheers. Yeah, you feel spice of Peychaud, a bit of Venice. The maraschino, believe me, is totally necessary. You don't really feel it, but it's there and it plays an important role in balancing the sweetness of the cocktail. I can also feel the dash of peach bitters, which stands out just nicely in the background and give a kind of a sweet feel to it. I like this combination. As I said, you should really develop your combination based on the bitters you have and based on your choice of vermouth and gin. As long as you use some maraschino and some anise flavor, usually absinthe, in my case I use Galliano and Peychaud bitters, you're gonna be making a tuxedo. Then you just have to fine-tune it, fine-tune the amount and find the bitters you prefer better. And changing even the smallest amount of bitter, you will find is gonna change the character of the cocktail. So if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, comment down below, share with anybody you like and don't like. Steal yourself a tuxedo, definitely find your own recipe, and hopefully I will see you next time. Cheers.